CIG TV News Update. I'm Donna Bush. Glad you could join me this Friday. In other news, since the start of the week, accounting and management staff from a wide cross-section of the Ministry of Home Affairs have been benefiting from fraud prevention and detection training. The course, arranged by the ministry's finance team back in January, will focus on areas of performing comprehensive fraud risk assessments, detecting a wide variety of internal fraud and corruption, including but not limited to purchasing and acquisition fraud, payroll fraud, check fraud, and reporting fraud. Facilitator Allen Keele explains one of several reasons why it's important to get this type of training.
So let's go to the clear and obvious, and that is cost. Fraud is a human condition. Fraud is not something that needs something to cause it to happen. It's something that happens by default if you don't stop it. So that means it's already here. It's already running. And on Monday, we actually went through a whole day of fraud risk assessment to try to determine, well, what do we have in place that would stop fraud from happening if it's going to happen on its own anyway? And as we went through this fraud risk assessment, we found out that we had precious little in place to stop fraud, which means that if we don't have it, it'd be a miracle because it is there on its own. One of the primary reasons why it's there on its own is a lot of the fraud, the people that are doing it, what they do, they don't even consider fraud. So everybody thinks fraud, oh, that's when you know it's a bad thing. Well, if it's not a bad thing, then it's not fraud, right? Right. And what I'm doing isn't such a bad thing, so that's not fraud. You know, everybody does it. And if everybody does it, then it can't be a bad thing. So this is where this environment develops, where you'll have a lot of what we actually know and understand as fraud and abuse, but nobody really looks at it as fraud and abuse because, well, it's just not wrong. But it is wrong. And so consequently, this requires then an adjustment to even the culture of an organization to understand what right and wrong really is, not just what is accepted practice.
Well, Home Affairs Chief Financial Officer Vinton Chinsey says it's critical that their staff receive this training to make them better equipped with the leading techniques to manage the risk of fraud. The training ends next week. Finally, if you missed our news update today, you can get all the details on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. Please don't forget to tune into Radio Cayman's talk shows. That's For the Record and Talk Today, week mornings and weekdays. For now, I'm Donna Bush, wishing you a wonderful and, of course, a safe weekend. Thanking you once again for joining me this entire week and hoping you'll do the same again next week. Until then, bye-bye for now.